Hey, so on this video, I want to talk about what happens if you have to switch your Kickstarter accounts, or you have to stop using one Kickstarter account and create a brand new Kickstarter account. Also, we'll probably talk a little bit about the discussion of should I, when I'm creating my account or when I'm first creating my account, should I create it under my name or should I create it under a brand name, or does it matter? And so these are some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. This is Tyler James. I'm the host of Comics Launch, founder of Comics Launch Pro. If you are a creator that is new to Comics Launch, or if you're a creator that is in our private community of Comics Launch Pros, welcome. I want to make sure that everyone knows about the resource that I have, which is a free resource. It's called it's a roadmap. It's you can download it at comicslaunch.com/roadmap. It'll help walk you through at a high level the steps to a successful comic book Kickstarter launch. So feel free to go grab that if you haven't grabbed it already and you want some tips on your Kickstarter launch. But the reason I want to talk about this topic today is because this was actually something that we had to go through for our latest launch. We actually have a launch that went live this morning, which is for the C is for Cthulhu campaign. And yeah, we're rocking and rolling. About a little over 60, what would it be? 55% funded right now, and on our way to our $20,000 goal. So the campaign's been off great. But if you look closely on this campaign, if you've been following C is for Cthulhu, or the brand that I've built with Jason Chiaramella and Greg Murphy under the Comics Tribe publishing imprint, this is sort of our children's brand. It's called C is for Cthulhu. You may notice that this is actually the first created project under this C is for Cthulhu account. And if you're scratching your head and being like, Tyler, you've been working about this and talking about C is for Cthulhu for years now, what gives? What's the deal with the first project? The deal is basically we had to restart or start a new account. And this is something that you might not know, but Kickstarter has a rule that when you create an account, you have an account profile and you can change your name, or you can change and edit your profile and change your bio and everything. But once you have launched a Kickstarter campaign under an account name, it locks your account name. So, let's say you launch under your name and then you get married. Well, you're going to probably have to keep launching, and you change your name or you adapt to your husband's name if you're a female creator, or a male creator, I guess. That doesn't really matter. But if you wanted to change your name at some point, well, your name would be locked as what you put it at in the first place. And so when we first launched the C is for Cthulhu brand back in, I think, 2013, 2014, it was under an account under the name of the writer and the artist. So it was sort of the account name was Jason Chiaramella and Greg Murphy. But as we've moved on, Greg has sort of moved on, and has a high position at a toy company, which also prevents him from being able to launch projects for other companies. And so it was very important that we not have his name on something like a Kickstarter launch as public as that. And so that's like the short reason of why we had to make that sort of switch. And so I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was a little bit worried because one of the most powerful things, and for those of you that haven't launched yet, I want you to internalize this. So come back to me if you've just been playing around. And if you have launched before, and then maybe you've launched a couple times, know that your Kickstarter account is one of your most powerful assets. It's an asset. That C is for Cthulhu account was an asset because over the years of launching, we had hundreds and hundreds of people that clicked the little follow button at some point along the journey and were following that account. And when someone follows your account, whenever you back projects, they get notified. And whenever you launch projects, they get notified automatically by Kickstarter. And so, part of the reason why, you know, the success rate for people that launch multiple times on Kickstarter is so much higher. I think, if you've launched 5 times on Kickstarter successfully, your success rate for your next project statistically is like 99%, something crazy like that. And part of the reason for that is because launching from a Kickstarter page has this equity that's built up into it. And so that's something that we built a lot of equity into that last page. And it's frustrating that we couldn't change the name of that page and keep all that equity. But the cool news, or the and if you're somebody that has had to launch under different names, or maybe you did your first launch and it was in a partnership and that partnership is no longer together, and so you had to do it, or maybe like I did a few years ago, where I went from launching projects under the Comics Tribe imprint as opposed to under my own name. These are some things that there is a trade-off there. But the good news is that it's not an insurmountable thing. And the good news is you still have access to that old account. And so some of the things that I've did to sort of mitigate the effects of launching on a new platform, and right now we are, $11,000 on day one. Like, I'm not feeling too bad about that at all. I'm not. It's not showing it, and we're really tracking sort of where we were on previous launches. So I'm not feeling a real adverse effect of the last launch, but or from moving to this new account. But we did take some action in order to make that transition a little bit easier. So one of the things that we did is we rallied our audience in a couple of places with a big viral giveaway beforehand, which is a giveaway that we promoted to our existing audience and to new audiences. And that's so we would have a big chunk of new people aware of what we do over at Seas for Cthulhu, and we added about some 5,000 people to our email list over the past month as a part of that. And so that's something that definitely just sort of helps in order to bring a lot more people out right away and get your message out. But we also did a concerted effort to encourage our email list and our backers from past campaigns to go and click the remind me button or the notify me button on our pre-launch page. And so that's something that you're going to want to do if you're starting over, if you have to move your account, is you're going to want to make sure that you get your pre-launch page up and running with a couple weeks, ideally, before your campaign actually launches. And you do that just by submitting your project to Kickstarter early so that they can review it, and then you get access to your pre-launch page. And so we were really aggressive about trying to get people to sign up for that pre-launch page. And what was cool about that is we got, several hundred people clicking that pre-launch notify me button beforehand. All right. And so so that's pretty much what I wanted to cover here. I just wanted to say that, there is a lot of value into that you can build up, an equity and power that you can build up in a Kickstarter account. And so if you can keep the same account for years and years and years and launch again and launch again and launch again, you're going to see your returns compound and compound and compound. But if you happen to find yourself in the position that I did, where strategically, business-wise, we had to start fresh on a new account, guess what? You're not actually just starting from scratch. You still have all of the assets. I can also now go in and send updates from the old account to all of the old projects, driving them to the new account, to the new project. So I still have access to all those things. It wasn't shut down or anything. And eventually, if you build something up once, that's just proof that you can build it up again and again and again. And the last thing I'll say, some of you are like, Tyler, hey, I haven't even got started. I'm not even, I haven't even created a Kickstarter account yet, let alone worried about getting my account shutting down. One thing that you may be faced with is like, all right, well, should I put it under my name or should I put it under a brand? And the recommendation that I give is that it does depend. But what you want to think about is, what's going to have the longest shelf life for you, and what are you going to be as a creator, right? If you are committed to being a publisher and building a brand, and you might be publishing your stuff among other people's stuff, then the brand makes a lot of sense. But if you are, hey, I'm not intending to be a publisher, but I just happen to be self-publishing right now, but I'm trying to build up my name as a artist or a writer that has an audience that can build a following and is going to do it, then you as the person would make a lot of sense. The thing that would not make a lot of sense is launching under a book name, right? So so a book name and not a brand name. And the reason for that is most creators that I know are not working on the same title or the same series that they were 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And again, if you don't have to change your Kickstarter account, don't change it, because that does build up a lot of equity. I hope that helps. I hope that let me know if you've sort of run into any of these issues or have struggled with any of these issues before, or are trying to make these decisions, and how you've overcome them and what you've found. Obviously, for us, the other assets that we do have for the Seas for Cthulhu brand, in terms of a big mailing list and a large following on Facebook and social media, and some well honed in audiences that we can target on Facebook. And these are all things that we dive deep on inside of Comics Launch Pro, and that I talk about on the Comics Launch podcast. Those assets will help mitigate for losing out on the asset that was that previous account. But the cool thing is, I'm in this for the long game. Most of the creators I know that are watching this are in this for the long game. And if we built up that first account over several successful launches, there's nothing saying that we can't do it again and again and again. This one, we say, I have 2 products. They're both me, so I guess I am the brand. Yeah, and that's actually great. It's great that you're the brand, because pretty sure you're not going to change your name anytime soon. And so that does make it easy for you. And that does like it's kind of nice when you can have sort of different style things that you launch. And guess what? Not everything is going to be for every backer, but there will be plenty of backers that is just like, hey, I'm a fan of you, not you first, and whatever you create, they're there for. And there are people in my life, people that I follow, that that's the case that it is for me. Cool. So thanks everybody for checking out this video and this training. If you want to see what we're doing over on Kickstarter, you can go to xmas.seasforcthulhu.com, and that's the short pretty link for it. Or just look for Seas for Cthulhu Christmas over at Kickstarter. We're on there live. We'll be live there for a couple of weeks. And again, if you haven't grabbed that successful comic book Kickstarter roadmap yet, go get it at comicslaunch.com/roadmap, and let me know what you think. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Can't wait to see what you launch next.